Happy holidays, everybody, and Tony here with my final Christmas episode tribute of this year. And this time, it's a Caribbean Christmas from Two Fat Ladies, which aired on BBC Two on December 22, 1998. This was directed by Patricia Llewellyn. Jennifer's dishes consisted of pumpkin soup, spiced bun, and rum punch, while Clarissa's dishes consisted of rice and peas and jerked suckling pig, and all of this took place at the Good Hope Country House and Chukka Cove Polo Club in Jamaica. Now it's the adults' turn to have their Christmas fun with Clarissa Dickson Wright and Jennifer Paterson, aka the Two Fat Ladies. And it's no white Christmas for Clarissa and Jennifer. It's a hot, sunny, and ocean breeze-filled Christmas that they are spending it in Jamaica. But before they actually end up in Jamaica, there's a really nice banter going on between Jennifer, Clarissa, and the front desk receptionist regarding their flight arrangements. And the funny part is how Jennifer and Clarissa attempt to bring their bike over to their flight for check-in, but the receptionist sadly refuses to have any bulky material as check-in because as they've checked in their baggages, it actually suffices, and having that on board would be quite inconvenient. And another funny moment is Clarissa stating that she has her electric bill and bank statement as her proof of identity instead of her passport, which left me laughing with glee. And once they're checked in, both Clarissa and Jennifer comment on how this Christmas will end up being something quite new for them, as this is going to be a very warm Christmas in Jamaica. The highlight of their arrival is not just them traveling through a car that they've rented throughout the holidays, but also seeing shots of different landscapes, from the ocean to the mountains and to all of that beautiful greenery. You truly believe that this is one of those places that makes Jamaica a country worth visiting in one's lifetime, considering all of that nature and all of that beauty. Once they arrive at the Good Hope Country House, they are then greeted by their hosts, Mr. and Mrs. Hart. And as usual, you could expect some really nice banter going on between Clarissa, Jennifer, and the Harts, with how the weather is like in Jamaica compared to the cold Christmases in Europe or America, and just wishing each other a great time. On top of that, the Harts' cook, Myrtle, is about to go on for her Christmas holiday. It's a shame that Myrtle was angled with a wide shot, because it would have been cool to have some close-up shots of her, as well as some medium close-up shots of her, as she comes off as warm-hearted, really cool to communicate with, as well as quite motherly and sweet. And I dare not forget firm yet fair and kind as she vacates for her Christmas holiday. As it is the standard of Two Fat Ladies, it's off to work to prepare a Christmas feast for all of the ladies and gentlemen at the Chukka Cove Polo Club, as well as the Good Hope Country House. Clarissa is preparing rice and peas with not only grating the coconut, but also dousing it in water, as well as using a muslin to squeeze out that nice coconut water to be used as a base for the peas, which in this case is kidney beans, because the peas used in rice and peas would be akin to split peas, or in Jamaica, they're known as gunko peas, but they're not the usual green peas, more like the more brownish versions. Aside from soaking those kidney beans in water and cleaning them thoroughly, she combines them with the coconut water and chops up some scallions, scotch pepper, and combines all of that with herbs and spices and long grain rice to have it boiled and ready to serve. Meanwhile, Jennifer's first round is preparing the spiced bun, which starts off with sifting flour and baking powder and combining those dry ingredients with dragon stout, honey in a bottle, brown sugar, dried and candied grapefruit peels, mangoes, and other local fruits from Jamaica, eggs and butter to be well combined into such a wonderful looking cake dough for it to be baked and also ready to serve. And it is also nice to see Clarissa and Jennifer travel throughout Jamaica, especially where one of the local stores are concerned. Seeing all the hustle and bustle of people coming in to get their local produce, as well as get their fresh ingredients all well prepared, is such a joy to see. There's even one sales lady who is advertising that this particular squash would be perfect for not only stews, soups, and all of those savory dishes, but also perfect for juices and drinks. And it has a lot of versatile uses as she's advertised it, which I thoroughly believe in. I would be pretty confident that this particular squash would serve its purpose extremely well. Even the sales lady is thoroughly aware that what Jennifer and Clarissa need is one of those locally grown pumpkins, which she ends up giving to them, much to Clarissa's and Jennifer's joy. After purchasing their next ingredient for the feast, it's time for both Clarissa and Jennifer to take a dip in the ocean, and seeing them don their blue swimsuits is just absolutely adorable while they're floating on the ocean, wading through the ocean, as well as just having a nice dip, and even watching the waves just crash and roll. Jennifer also jokes that she would not want to spend her Christmas in a hot kitchen, but rather in the cooling sea on Christmas Day in the morning, as she sings part of "I Saw Three Ships Sailing on Christmas Day in the Morning," which I found really hilarious and absolutely endearing. And it also makes me realize how much I miss Jennifer Paterson, given that she passed away at only 71 years old in 1999, barely 1 year after this episode aired. With that refreshing dip done and dusted, it's also time for Jennifer to create her pumpkin soup, which she does by roasting the pumpkin, separating the flesh from the skin, and throwing in some other nice ingredients such as scallions, spices, herbs, salt, and pepper, and just combining them all together so that they could also be ready for pureeing to become a creamy soup. Meanwhile, Clarissa has her spice rub ready, with allspice being crushed up, combined with scallions, garlic, ginger, salt, pepper, and other nice herbs used for jerking meat. And even Clarissa explains the origins of jerking meat and fish, as they are from the Maroon people, who were Spanish slaves who ended up emigrating to Jamaica. And since they also did a lot of hunting, they also ended up preserving their catch by jerking them with spices, salt, herbs, as well as making sure that they last for a pretty long time. And she combines all of those dry ingredients with olive oil to be spread on the suckling pig, which also happens to be the main star / the main course, as she also prepares it for some outdoor roasting and jerking. Then Jennifer prepares a rum punch with this simple poem: 1 times sour, 2 times sweet, 3 times strong, and 4 times weak. The first thing that she puts in is a huge chunk of ice for it to be a cool, refreshing drink, followed by lime juice, cane sugar syrup, rum, and water, so that everything can be well combined and also be used as a nice, refreshing drink for all the guests. With that suckling pig currently roasting and jerking, as well as being all well cooked for all that flavor to burst in such a wonderful way, it's time for Clarissa and Jennifer to meet up with the polo players and watch their game at the Chuka Cove Polo Club. The polo players also exercise grace, agility, formidability, and a whole lot of chutzpah with how they played their game, to the point where I was thoroughly astounded. And it's not just me that was astounded at how they played their game, but also Clarissa and Jennifer, who also note that despite this being quite exciting as well as thrilling for anyone who is a polo expert, it could also be quite dangerous, because you'll never know what will happen to the players if they're not totally careful, as well as trying to combine riding your horses while hitting that ball with that mallet just seems quite risky if they're not careful, or if they lack the proper coordination to do something like that, which seems quite frightening. And speaking of stories, even Clarissa and Jennifer shade the Americans for using too much sugar and too many sweet ingredients for their pumpkin pies to the point where they don't really taste the actual pumpkin, let alone a lot of the balance of flavor, but it's mostly dominated by sugar and all the sweet stuff and just seem monotonous in flavor to the point where they are rather turned off by how Americans handle their pumpkin, which I thought was absolutely hilarious, yet also true to hear from these wonderful hostesses. Now with the excitement of the polo match done and dusted, it's time for all the guests to return to the Good Hope Country House and have their Christmas feast, complete with rich, creamy pumpkin soup, succulent jerked suckling pig, delectable rice and peas, and luscious spiced bun, which not only has the sweet and doughy stuff, but also has that nice spice to give it a little bit of kick. And of course, a little bit of that dragon stout to give it body and excitement. And with all the guests satisfied at their Christmas dinner, it's all smiles all around. Even Clarissa and Jennifer engage in a little bit of Christmas joy, with Clarissa giving Jennifer a couple of conches that she jokingly states that if she boils them, earrings will come out, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. And in usual cheery fashion, they give a toast to each other for a happy Christmas. And the episode wraps up with Jennifer and Clarissa singing God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, which I thought was absolutely adorable and absolutely lovely, listening to their deep, rich, and round contralto voices working very well off of each other, what with Jennifer's contralto voice being more on the verge of a mezzo, while Clarissa's contralto voice is a genuine contralto. Earthy, dark, deep, and rich, and these are the type of voices that I would love to listen to, probably a lot more than the so-called contraltos of these days, in which some contraltos these days don't really sound like genuine contraltos, but more like underdeveloped mezzos or underdeveloped sopranos at worst. But at least with Jennifer Paterson and Clarissa Dickson Wright, their contralto voices blended so superbly with such rich tones, as well as a great deal of humor. However, there is a little bit of a sad element in this particular moment, because Jennifer states that she would love to go to the Laplands, more specifically to Finland, for the next Christmas episode. However, that would not end up being the case because, as I stated before, Jennifer Paterson passed away back in 1999. And had Jennifer Paterson still be alive for Two Fat Ladies, and especially as Clarissa Dickson Wright's partner in culinary treats and awesome cuisines, we would have also ended up seeing that Christmas episode with both Clarissa and Jennifer in Finland or Sweden or any of the Nordic countries, complete with snow, blizzards, and a whole lot of cold, and seeing them all bundled up, while also exploring the snowy landscapes of Finland's, Sweden's, Norway's, and a lot of the Nordic countries' more mountainous areas. Nevertheless, I'm still happy that this particular Christmas episode existed, with both Clarissa and Jennifer having a great Christmas time in Jamaica and just having a whole lot of cheer with each other, as well as ending it with a whole lot of positivity. A Caribbean Christmas from Two Fat Ladies was definitely a lot more exciting in terms of its execution and the overall fun I had with this particular episode. But it was also a swan song for me, as well as other viewers watching Two Fat Ladies, because this would also be the last Christmas episode to feature Jennifer Paterson, as she ended up passing away by the time season 4 rolled around, but nevertheless left an exciting legacy, all thanks to her charisma and great charm as a TV presenter, a wonderful food critic, as well as a connoisseur of anything involving fine food and fine cuisine, and any type of cuisine for that matter. And all of the cuisines featured are absolutely delectable, to the point where I would love more than anything to try them out especially where spiced bun is concerned. Sure, in terms of the suckling pig that is roasted and jerked, there is something similar in the Philippines that's called lechon, which is also derived from the Spanish people. And I'm also confident there are also some similarities between those two, but the differences is how they're prepared. So it's also very interesting to learn a lot about how these foods as well as these delicacies are prepared as well as preserved for everybody to whet their appetites with. And when all is said and done, Two Fat Ladies' second and final Christmas episode, A Caribbean Christmas, was a wonderful treat for the eyes, ears, and to some extent mouth. And it was such a wonderful experience seeing both Jennifer and Clarissa have their Christmas trek in sunny Jamaica, full of glee and full of their signature banter and camaraderie. And for those of you who caught A Caribbean Christmas from Two Fat Ladies, what'd you think of it? Did you really love all the delicacies and cuisines featured in this episode? What was your favorite moment featured on here? Did you also love those moments when the two fat ladies, Clarissa and Jennifer, met up with the Hearts as well as their cook Myrtle? Did you also feel that Myrtle should have had a lot more screen time? Did you also love those scenes where Jennifer and Clarissa went to the local market to purchase some pumpkin and also had their moment in the sea and had their nice, cool, refreshing dip? Or was this particular Christmas episode unmemorable to you? Please let me know in the comments below. Well, that's it for my tribute to Two Fat Ladies, A Caribbean Christmas. It was quite fun making these series of Christmas episode tributes, and although I would have liked to do a lot more this year, I'll save those next series of Christmas episode tributes for next year. But now it's time to shift gear and also do some New Year's episode tributes. And also, for tomorrow, I'll be watching La Bohème at the Deutsche Oper Berlin, starring Elena Zalagova as Mimi. And the day after that, it'll be Il Viaggio a Reims, also the Deutsche Oper Berlin, starring Martina Russomano as Madame Cortese. So until then, I hope you all had the happiest of holidays. I hope you all had a very Merry Christmas. I hope you all had a wonderful Hanukkah season. I also hope that you had a nice Kwanzaa season as well as a lovely winter solstice season. And whatever holiday you're celebrating, I hope that you've managed to celebrate it with joy, happiness, and prosperity. And here's also hoping that 2025 will be a more prosperous and abundant year. Take care, and hopefully your New Year's will be absolutely amazing.